Well, a cat came off the bait, got down at the base of the tree, sat down quartering just slightly to my left, and this is it. You know, it's now or never.
Okay, take them when you get the shot.
Well, I made the shot, and I could tell from Mark's reaction that something good had happened, but I didn't see. And so I just, you know, like, let's get down there. Let's you know, let's just see it. But cautiously, let's get down there and let's see what's happening. Which meant more barefoot walking. Well, we're walking down, Mark calls the vehicle in, we get down there, we get to the bottom of the bait tree, there's blood on the ground, and Mark points, and probably less than 10 yards away, you know, there the cat's laying dead. And it was a relief, because it wasn't something, you know, I really was worried about having to go look for this cat. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't feel good about the shot, it's just I didn't know what to expect. And to have a cat there was a relief.
Thank you very much. What a day. It's only begun. Oh, man.
But thankfully he came back today and you made a great shot, sir. Well done. Nice leopard.
Thank you very much. Well, this leopard hunt was a very different hunt for me. I've been to Africa several times. I've hunted a number of different plains game over here. But the leopard hunt was real different. The putting the bait up, you know, shooting the bait to do that. I mean, I was really looking forward to it, because this is kind of the classical leopard hunt. I mean, in terms of hanging the bait and doing that. So I was really looking forward to experiencing all that. But it was very different for me. It wasn't a matter where you spot animals and then you go, you know, you stalk them and hopefully you get a shot at a good animal. This was a completely different kind of a waiting game. The other thing was it's a very smelly game. There's a lot of smell that goes along with this, and that's probably one of the big memories of this hunt is going to be just the smell of the bait and the smell of the vehicle, and yeah, it's a whole different experience in that way. But it's a great experience, and it's a great hunt, and it's a great feeling at the end of it when you realize you went through this whole process and you were successful.
Ron Schober was several days into his leopard hunt in Zimbabwe with professional hunter Clint Edwards. They had several baits up. They were very much into the kind of running around checking bait part of the hunt when they finally found the sign that they had been waiting for all this time.
The big male has hit our bait, eaten quite a bit. Certainly it's still too early to bolt a blind, but we'll come back. He's got a really nice cat, you can see the range right there. Let's get out, still too early, might be nearby.
Later that morning, the team returned with everything that it took to refresh the bait and build up a blind as quickly and as quietly as they possibly could. They'd made a plan to return that evening to sit, so once the blind was built, quietly they just left the area, leaving all the preparation perfect, and hopefully this evening when they come in, everything's going to go right.
Blind is done. I think let's go have lunch, and we'll come back. But I think this cat is far. Let's go.
Came back in that night, and we were about, probably 3/4 of a mile away from the site. We stopped the vehicle. We proceeded at a very slow pace to the blind. Really, we're very slow and methodical about getting into the blind without alerting any of the potential animals in the area. We got into the blind. Clint signaled us to come in. We sat down. I was not able to see anything at the time. Clint was, and he noticed a female coming in, and then he signaled later on that there were 2 cats on the bait site.
But it wasn't even 10 minutes?
There he was, at the bottom of the tree, growling at the female. It wasn't long the female jumped out of the tree and he climbed in. We watched him for close to 5 minutes before we gave Ron the go-ahead to shoot.
After what seemed forever, watching Clint gesture how many cats and what was happening, he finally instructed me to place my firearm up through the sight hole that we had set in the blind.
Reload, shoot it again. Shoot it again, he's in the river.
Can't see, I can't see him.
Shoot it.
We then waited for what seemed to be about 20 minutes to a half hour before we went down to the river. Clint called in the trackers. The trackers came down. Then we proceeded to track the leopard. When the trackers came down, everybody was putting on jackets and coats, and then I began to realize that we may be dealing with a wounded leopard, and it just gives you a very nervous feeling that you have to go after a wounded leopard, especially when the light was fading fast.
Just when a professional hunter sees a cat running like that, you know that you're going to be pretty lucky to find that cat dead. The light is fading, the bush is thick, and at that point, it seems like the odds are stacked against you. You reach for your flashlight, but thick bush with a flashlight, you feel very, very vulnerable. You feel like that leopard could even hear your heartbeat.
Look at that. Well done.
Thank you.
Good shooting, sir.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, we got this big cat feeding, so we built a blind and got into it at 4:30, and yeah, he came in shortly afterwards.
Clint opened up the panel for me to put my rifle through and made the shot, and luckily we found him on the opposite bank. He had jumped up the opposite bank where we found him, and he was dead, and we picked him up.
Oh, well done.
Physically, any mature lion is an imposing creature. Its ability to pull down a Cape buffalo, its ability to kill, its ability to defend its territory. Should you find yourself the focus of a lion's fury, your chances of survival, unless there's a well-placed bullet, are slight. Typically, in today's Africa, lions are shot over bait, where as a result of very careful preparation, the perfect bait and the perfect sight, with great wind and a great approach, it's going to be a broadside shot with a perfectly steady rest. But the combination of low light, adrenaline, and just sheer nerves are what often lead to a wounded cat. When wounded, he is the most furious and the most adequate killing machine that you could ever hope to face. If he does come for you, you're going to face a perfect killing machine that is going to use everything that he has, right down to his very last heartbeat, to take you with him. If you execute a perfectly placed shot, one of the world's greatest trophies, one of the most regal animals to walk the face of the planet, will be your trophy, your memory of what it took to take such a fine animal. But if you get it wrong, you're going to have found yourself a seat in the front row of the dark continent's most dangerous zone. Lion hunting usually starts off with several other dangerous game hunts. You know, just the very fact that you're going to hunt the lion with bait will require you to go and shoot a large animal for that bait. Antelope are normally not large enough to be an adequate bait for a lion. So you're going to find yourself on a hunt for a buffalo cow, or a hunt for a buffalo bull, or a hunt for a hippopotamus, or a tuskless elephant, or something that can be used for bait that's going to be large enough to attract a pride and to attract a male, or just to attract a group of males, if you're very lucky, into the area. The way that you hang the bait is absolutely crucial. It's got to be high enough that the lions won't finish it, low enough that they can feed on it and know that there's still some meat there and hang around to keep trying. It really is very important exactly the height that the bait is hung. The shooting lane is absolutely crucial, as is the spot where you're going to have the blind. And unlike leopard, you're very often going to walk into the blind and find the lions right there when you arrive. So having a screen and having a well-planned approach where you can be completely out of sight with the wind in your face as you approach your blind is absolutely crucial with lion. By virtue of the fact that lions are social animals, you're often going to find that just checking your baits is going to result in some confrontation from some of the lionesses in the area. An early morning approach into a blind is not for the faint of heart. It's dark, you know that there's lions, maybe multiple lions, in and around your bait, and in some cases even in and around the blind. That can get your undivided attention. Lion hunting has truly been in the crosshairs of the antis in the last few years of African hunting, and it's very important that we make sure that the lion hunting of today is seen in a very sustainable light. It's seen as being done with the right research behind it and with the right integrity from the professional hunter. You know, two big differences in the continent today is the difference in the imperative in Tanzania to shoot very old lions, and the differences in the imperative in the Zambezi Valley, for example, in Zimbabwe, to reduce the population of lions. Let's talk about the Zambezi Valley for a minute. The large herds of buffalo that of late have somewhat diminished, largely as a result of the giant lion population. Just a few years ago, I was hunting lion in the Zambezi Valley, and I came across 9 different prides on one particular safari, just in one block. That's a lot of lions, and in that particular time, you know, the buffalo herds had very, very few calves with them, and it's no wonder with populations of lions like that. So an area like the valley, as well as having their normal quota of male lions, has also issued some permits for female lions in a bid to somewhat reduce that population. It's a very different story in Tanzania, however, where you've got a lot more blocks, a lot less of them surrounding national parks, so there's an imperative to make sure that lions are shot when they're old, when they're beyond breeding, and when they're of no further use to the existing population. And I think that it's very important, as we as hunters take to the field, to understand what area you're in, what integrity that one needs to hold in the fore, whether you're in an area where there's too many lions or too few lions, whether you're in an area where the conservation integrity requires that you shoot old lions, or the conservation integrity may just require that you shoot a lion. Follow us through this section of the DVD as we take you through the Zambezi Valley of Zimbabwe. We take you through some of the areas of Tanzania, and you'll see through the different terrain, the different prey species, how different these animals actually are when given these different stimuli in different areas and different prey.
Well, our first hunt is going to highlight a hunt in the Zambezi Valley with my good friend Len Taylor and Carl Stonecipher, where as one gets into the area and as one starts to look around and decide where one's going to hang baits, the first order of business is going to be to get those baits. And so very often a lion hunt is booked with many bait species, as we've been talking about before, on the tag.
Adding that time.
On the lion side, there's an area in the concession which is called the Mkanga Valley. A lot of buffalo in that area, and I know that because of the buffalo population there's always a lot of lions there. And right at that particular point is always a good spot to hang baits, because the lions always seem to find your bait there. We had a Primos camera on this bait, and when we came back to check it the next day, we saw that a big male lion had fed. It's great to have that Primos camera. It really tells you what you've got feeding. You can see what the lion looks like even before you sit there. and they don't seem to spook the animals at all. And it was just a good feeling to know that we already knew what was feeding there. So we set up a blind. I really thought we should give this a good try.
Setting up the blind is a really crucial part of any cat experience, and you know, once you've set the blind, just leaving the area altogether, driving out, spending maybe even a full day or even 2 days away from the area to let the cats really settle down to the fact that there's a blind there and possibly a few changes to the area.
About 4 o'clock when we got back, it was very hot, and we snuck down as quietly as we can. We slipped into it, and the bugs were terrible. And I had come prepared for that. I brought a bug net, and I put that on, and I did not have trouble with the bugs.
You've been sitting in the blind for sometimes hours. You know, you're just wondering if this is even going to happen, when there she is, your first lion, and immediately you forget everything else that was going on. You forget the bugs, you forget the pain of trying to sit still, and your focus is 100% on what might walk out of the grass next. And there he is. Now comes for the scariest few moments on any cat hunt, the follow-up. How good was the shot? Was it in the perfect place? Where's the lion? Is he dead where he lies? All of those questions start to play through your mind as you prepare yourself to face what might be an ugly situation.
Okay, Cole, if he does bite somebody, okay, just keep your shots low, get down low and shoot. Okay. Carol, okay, just take your time and don't panic, all right?
As you walk slowly forward, your eyes trying to pierce through the thick brush in front of you, you see the first blood. You see where he's gone in, and it's thicker than you could ever imagine. They saw a lot of blood, and as soon as there's a lot of blood, that's a good sign. In order just to keep safety in the forefront of your mind, if there's at all a possibility, it's really important at this point to get a vehicle in. You don't want 500 pounds of cat coming boiling towards you. You've got grass over your head. You've seen the first glimpse of that lion. And as a professional hunter, when you first walk up to that animal, not knowing if he's dead or not, that will get your undivided attention.
Dead kitty.
Hey, that's a big cat.
Standing. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
One time.
You got an incredible amount of luck, son. I want you to know that.
You got yourself a beautiful black maned lion, it looks like, and you made a great shot on it. We decided to sit, and it all planned out for us. So congratulations. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lions, not only to hunters, are beasts of legend, but to the local people as well. Everybody knows a story about somebody that was killed by a lion. It may have been passed down from generation to generation, but those stories don't get smaller, they get bigger. So when one comes back into camp with a lion in the back of the truck, that is cause for celebration, and celebrate they do. Our next experience is going to be in a similar area, but this time during the very greenest time of the year. Louise and Gunnar Clark, a husband and wife who are just passionate about hunting, some of my favorite people in the world to hunt with.
The Zambezi Valley's got way too many lions at the moment. It's a fluctuating population, which means that may not have been the case 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. But right now, today, as part of the management of the area, they do have some lioness on quota, and it's a great hunt, so we had decided to take advantage of it. now that we had a buffalo in the salt, we also had bait. And you know, one of the key issues when you're cat hunting is to have enough bait, and not only to have enough bait, to be hanging it in the right places. So we selected some really good places where we thought some lionesses would be moving. Come over here. Quick, eh? But you know what? I think it's got to go on that fork there. I don't know how we lift it there, but that fork there, because here it's going to be too far back.
One of the special things about this was the whole hanging of the bait, and we had put out bait in several different trees, and to be part of that process, to watch the bait being hung, how they did it, it's a lot of work. And I was anxious to see if this baiting would really work in bringing in a lion.
One of the most important things when hanging a lion bait is to make sure that the bait is not too low, because otherwise what will happen is the lions will come, they'll be able to reach all the meat, and within one night they'll finish it, and not thinking there's anything to come back for, they'll just leave. So what you want to do is to hang it so that it's high enough that they can not feed on very much of it, but low enough that they can feed on a little bit. Right.
One of the great surprises of the hunt was that Ivan had some Primus trail cameras that he hung in various positions over the different baits that we had hung. And it was so great to come back at the end of the day and with the memory card, check on the computer and see all the different animals that had come in to view of the trail camera. It was really an unexpected plus of the hunt with the Primus trail cameras.